to slow the pony. J4 has a built-in slow in his W active, which slows all nearby enemies for 2 seconds. So if you ever see a Hecarim coming in at full speed, slam that ability and watch Hecarim lose all his life. Aside from building full AD, which you can, let's grab Cinderhulk Red, Mertreads, Black Cleaver, Stoneplate, Randuin's for an extra slow, and end your build out with a Warmogs. Your champion shuts down a Hecarim at any stage of the game, as long as you slow him, so do not be afraid to fight, especially when you have priority. During teamfights, try to peel back and trap the Hecarim after he has ulted. Just make sure not to trap your carries with them inside your cage. With that being said, make sure to check out ProGuides.com, where you can get a challenger tier coach to elevate your Jarvan gameplay to the next level. When dealing with Karthus, you want a champion that can get up close and personal to DPS the pesky mage. Nidalee has this at all stages of the game, so you'll never lose if you find Karthus. While it may seem counterintuitive to dive into a Karthus, we figure the only time you ever want to go in is if you land a spear, so make sure that condition has been met before fighting. From there, at any stage of the game, if you ever find Karthus alone, feel free to dive in because you completely out DPS him in short trades, usually killing him as a result. For your build, look to grab Red Runic Echoes, Ionian Boots, Rod of Ages, Lichbane, Zhonya's for Karthus ult, and Rabadon's. This matchup is an easy one once you played a couple times, so here are a couple tips to take down the Deathsinger. Try to invade Karthus' camps early on, usually on the side where you have priority. If you find him, fight him. Otherwise, steal the camp and simply walk away. Feel free to swap between Lichbane and Zhonya's, since sometimes buying the Zhonya's for the stopwatch effect first could prove to be more useful against the Karthus in order to dodge his ultimate. Countering Zed and Galio. Zed is tough to deal with because of his ability to snowball and assassinate squishy targets at all stages of the game. Taking Rumble mid will completely shut down anything Zed wants to do. Your ability to control the lane and shield all of his damage will give you constant pressure, allowing you to help your jungle. On top of that, if Zed ever jumps in, immediately overheat and start autoing him to death. Your build starts with Dorn's Ring, yeah, we said it, a Dorn's Ring, into Ninja Tabi, Oblivion Orb, Zhonya's, Liandry's, Rabadon's, and end out with the Void Staff. Abuse your ability to burn down the ninja and continue sustaining with your Taste of Blood. We pointed out earlier that you want to overheat if Zed ever jumps in, so make sure you are constantly hovering around the 40 to 60 range so that you can spam your abilities and get that short power spike when your autos do tons of damage. Otherwise, help your jungler gain leads with invades and land those crazy rumble ultimates during the mid-game. Galio is a champion we are starting to see more play recently because of his tankiness and his ability to burst squishy targets. Vayne is a champion designed to completely dodge everything Galio can do while outscaling him. Look to CS and poke Galio where he oversteps on the wave. Save your tumble for Galio when he decides to try to engage. If you ever make a mistake by overstepping, simply condemn the Galio back and laugh as he continues to be useless throughout the laning phase. Look to build Blade of the Ruined King, Berserker Greaves, Rage Blade, Phantom Dancer, Mercurial Scimitar, and Destiny. Vayne is a niche mid laner and is rarely picked except into this matchup, so here are a couple tips to win the matchup. Identify when you can turn on Galio and abuse your passive to run him down after he fails to engage on you. This will allow you to punish his mistakes and make the laning phase easier for you to continue scaling. Don't be afraid to start side laning when your bot lane takes mid, since you can outplay a lot of 1v2 situations by dodging Galio's engage and kiting like a beast. Worst case scenario, just make sure to scale to a Quicksilver Sash where you can escape any CC you may get hit by. Countering Samira and Jhin. Similar to the jungle, there's a huge disclaimer. AD carries will never run at each other and fight in a 1v1. The point of these counter picks is to find opportunities to win small trades and build up advantages, eventually leading to an outscale opportunity. A lot of AD carry matchups are heavily influenced by the supports, since supports dictate the pace of bottom lane. Let's be real, Samira is broken and has solidified herself as a staple pick in the bottom lane, similar to when Aphelios was released. She excels with crowd control characters and seems way too slippery to deal with. In order to match Samira, this week we are going with Senna. You are able to outrange Samira and farm her for souls very easily. Look to build Manamune, Boots of Swiftness, Edge of Night, Rapid Fire Cannon, Duskblade, and end out with any Last Whisper. A small interaction you can abuse is your ability to auto-attack Samira through her W, since your auto-attacks are not a projectile, so take advantage of this to get in free damage. Keep your teammates alive with your Q and ultimate during teamfights and kite accordingly to be more useful than Samira. Again, Worst case scenario, just look to play slowly and reach critical mass at 60 or 80 stacks, where teamfighting becomes a lot easier to execute. Jhin is a character that has many projectiles and does not have any dashes. While Yasuo isn't a traditional bot lane character, if you pair him up with Alistar or Leona, it can prove very deadly for any immobile champions. If Jhin ever walks up, gap close through minions and start fighting him with your support. You should always win because Jhin has a lot of trouble dealing with characters that can get up close and personal. Look to build Berserker Greaves, Phantom Dancer, Infinity Edge, S-Stance, Stair Stage, and Guardian Angel. Even if the early game never goes as planned because of maybe jungle ganks or support matchup, he will always be more useful than Jhin in teamfights by simply win-walling his abilities and outputting more DPS with Conquer. We here at Pro Guides strive for the O10 Yasuo power spike in the mid game to carry. Wait, just joking, don't do that. Countering Lulu and Blitzcrank. Just keep in mind, support counterpicks do not imply you'll be 1v1ing your opponent to the death, but rather how they interact and what counter matchups can do to shut down.
We all have things we worry.
The produce that you get is at its optimum ripeness. It is fresh, it is ripe, they can leave it on the vine a little bit longer, and by the time it gets to you, it's not all damaged. It's gorgeous, in perfect condition. Look at this, it's amazing. Now tonight I'm going to do a beautiful cream of butternut squash and sweet potato soup. You got to check out that recipe, it's going to be awesome. Also, I'll be toasting up the seeds, and make sure you check out both of those recipes. So that's it. Make sure you get out
to beat Lulu, you want a support who can outrange and engage onto her. Zyra offers all these tools by spotting plants that will zone Lulu from walking up and even potentially rooting when she
I'm Kimberly Turner from CookingWithKimberly.com, and this is what I say about food. This is what I say about Ontario sugar pumpkins at Harvest Barn Country Markets. Now look at these gorgeous little specimens I picked up today at our local Harvest Barn. Now there's two locations in Southern Ontario. One is in St. Catharines and one is in Niagara-on-the-Lake, and these are from my Niagara-on-the-Lake store, and they are going to be perfect to be making.
Five regions, 50 teams, over 1,800 matches per year. Onivia, League of Legends highlights heaven.
Hecarim is still going to be an interesting situation in that he's in a jungle matchup against Elise. Much more early ganking options available for the Elise, but we saw a nice performance on the Hecarim yesterday and one of
Going to be taking away some minions. I'm going to get jumped on, takes a hell of a lot of damage, has to use the Onslaught of Shadows defensively to get himself out. It's going to be the Stand United coming through, and Max, a very squishy Alistar. He's going to go down for first blood. Nice pickup there from ESC, collapsing in on an overextension by MVP. Oh, wow! He's actually able to palm out Bless.
Always a
Nicely
time
done
to
for the
break.
turnaround. Now Max, oh boy, you're in a bad spot. Arrow comes through, finds Key. Bless with a nice repel.
Breaking.
We also see Onslaught of Shadows.
Weather. And we
Look
are
at that
making our way
damage
over to
coming
the
through. He is going to go down.
We are
Vladimir finds himself. Now
Melrose.
Max in a bad
in the
spot.
Robertson area.
Does not
This
have
is very
flash raise.
glam and hip, and we love this area.
Four tanks up the tower. That's gonna
Brazos
be
Madre is where
double
we're
kill
taking you.
coming through for the Vladimir.
We have one of the best patios over here.
Bill.
Get our drink and our
Drop
veggies
it.
on. She loves all of those things. I love all of those things. And you will too once you see this. And here we go.
I'm Pilar Holland, a child of the hospitality life from a chain of family-owned restaurants.
That's a definite hell yes.
I'm Katina Niku, a lover of the culinary world who's traveled the country working in restaurants, and I married a chef.
Woo! There's that heat.
We're eliminating the happy hour search one bar at a time.
And we're doing it all for you. This is LA Happy.
LA Happy.
What are you having?
Oh, I get sangria, guys.
I'm doing margarita, guys.
Of course she is.
I'm gonna have the, how do we pronounce it? The Purista? Okay, it has reposado tequila with agave,
Oh, yeah.
orange bitters, and...
As mayor of Mississauga, Bonnie Crombie raised taxes and fees every year. Her last act as mayor, introducing one final tax hike. Since taking over the Ontario Liberal Party, she's fought against PC tax cuts, rebates, and reductions. Now, with the threat of tariffs and a trade war, she's admitting the job's tough and that she thought it would be easier. The stakes have never been higher for you and your family. Protect Ontario. Vote PC. A message from the Ontario PC
Yeah,
Party.
it is a full.
Not expecting. The color looked like it was going to be fresh and
It totally
springy.
did.
Fight over
With the
this
orange
one.
slices.
Maybe with
Fight
little
over this fight. He's going to be able to get it. Onslaught of Shadows. Take him out. But he might still pay for
Kind of a
this life.
disappointment.
He's just
I'm
getting
really
stuck.
surprised.
Like blue by temp.
It's delish.
He's thinking about flashing
And
over the
while
wall
she's
there.
tasting that, I'll let you know.
Not do
They have an incredible bar program here.
Arrow comes
The
out.
beverage
Bless, nice
manager
repel, but
is
this
all
means it's
about
straight
agave
into Dick. He's
spirits.
taking a
So
hell
they
of a
do
lot of
all
damage.
of
He's gonna try to
these
flash
drinks with
over.
agave spirits
Ball
beyond
price
what you see
coming
on the
through.
happy hour
Max will lock
menu.
him down.
So yeah,
MVP.
I think you'll appreciate what he's doing
It looks
there.
like they can maybe have a real shot. It's just 3 and 4.
Yeah, and they're all about mezcal here and reposado tequila, so there's a variety happening beyond the happy hour menu, but the Mars you can never go wrong
Throw him out as Max gets the kill. Straight into the back line.
When I talk restaurant talk,
They do have really, really amazing,
Try to capitalize on
They really
Max
do.
still finds a pop up on the Logan, but so far no
The
lives
happy
have
hour's
been
a
created.
little bit
AD trying to get some
so
damage in, but a nice flash taunt comes through from the chef. Tries to lock in the gangplank, but he still makes it out, but beyond. He's going to be the one falling in the end. Bless does get popped there by Ian. Now Temp
Tell us a little about
into
these
this
nachos.
dragon pit,
it's
nowhere to go.
soy
Tries to get out with
miso
Sandwich
nachos,
Roll.
guys.
He's going to actually get an answering kill on that Maha before he goes down. Now the recipe is seen.
Tomatoes and pico de gallos,
Yeah.
guacamole.
Salsa verde. These chips are homemade.
Oh
my God.
That cannon barrage.
Uh-huh.
Use Maha gets caught by that. Takes a bunch of damage. Has to pop the summoner heal. Now Max Waldo has that Alistar ultimate. Trying to
These
flash
never
out. Meanwhile,
disappoint.
ADD
It's so funny
finishing
they call
off
it
Plus
chorizo,
on the
but
back
it's
side.
soy
Now Logan
Yeah.
shredded down by Maha. One comes through
I
though.
think he's
Temp's
so
trying
good
to walk
that
up.
we need to like.
I have to admit that like this is one of those places where like even though
Finish off this shit.
food is like mimicking something that
Rest of the
is
squad
meat
can
driven
get
or
out.
something,
Overall, it's going to be a 2
you never
here.
and you never.
Oh,
feel it.
never mind.
This
Beyond,
food
he's
is
not
so
done
good,
yet.
so good.
Zips his way in, takes out Logan.
Yeah, this is a perfect appetizer for happy hour. This is a must do always.
It's not going to catch anybody. It's something the
I'm gonna sit here and enjoy the breeze on this gorgeous West Hollywood patio.
MVP are in a rough spot. He's going to have to peel back.
Cinnamon does not go with
Let's order you another. Let's order you a marg.
Okay.
That's not fair.
Still hurt them. They just start the Baron. Not
Alright,
this
we got
far
two
away.
tacos.
Really
Taco
aggressive.
time.
They do have
Well,
that
I wanted
little
the beer
outbreak.
bag
This
of
is an
portobello.
absolute
And I wanted the
melting plus
pineapple.
Roaming in, but Max headbutts him away. The repel comes through, and that's going to be American for by AD. The fight's broken out. Temp in the front line gets a really last second Zonia's. Will it be enough to get him out? Has a second week pull. Trying to exit, but Onslaught of Shadow goes again. Nice pulverize on the 3 members. Beyond still hasn't finished off the Vladimir. He'll finally fall. That barrel connection. He's going to find a double kill. Max so far the only person inside of the has gone down. He's going to try to chase him. Hecker.
He's going to try and end the game, Achilles.
It does look that way. He's going to try to finish off.
Shen's teleporting away from them trying to end the game.
Okay, this is really questionable by Crazy. He does have a teleport available, but now he's got no structures to go to. So, okay. Good job, ESC. You lose game 1, MVP.
Oh, I thought that was insane.
LA happy.
So 2 for sure things. Nachos? Yep. And beer Valor, Porter Valor.
Come back.
I would, yeah. Oh, that's like
Every time. I mean, we really like the regular menu, but for happy hour, I'm back.
Hi Simply Bakers, it's Lainey, and today I'm sharing with you another dairy-free recipe. It's super easy and I'm pretty sure you have all the ingredients in your pantry. So let's begin. So in a large bowl, I added the sugar cane, which is a type of sugar, a healthier type of sugar, and brown sugar. These are both vegan, and then I added the oil, and you have to make sure to use canola oil because the flavor isn't as strong or you can't even taste it. Then you're going to use your handheld mixer and mix it until everything is well combined.
All night long. Tuesdays all night long. We are on a mission.
To the same bowl, add the cornstarch. This helps thicken the batter. Add half a cup of non-dairy milk. I use vanilla almond milk. Feel free to use what you have available, and then add vanilla extract and continue mixing until this is well combined. And guys, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button so you can get all of my latest recipes first. So back to the recipe, add the whole wheat flour, that's 1 cup, and then I added some of the seasonings, which I will list in the description box. And then I mixed it a little bit, and then I added all-purpose flour. So I started using my handheld mixer to mix the batter, but then I realized it's going to get very doughy, so I decided to use my spatula and continue mixing. So once the flour is pretty mixed in with the rest of the batter, go ahead and add the chocolate chips. You can use vegan chocolate chip, which is also called carob, but if you guys can't get either of those, you can just use regular chocolate chips. So mix, mix, mix. And once you're done mixing, we're going to transfer the cookie dough onto a cookie sheet. I always like to line my cookie sheet with parchment paper, but you can also use foil or a baking mat. I like to use parchment paper because I'm kind of careful what I put into my body, and basically you're just eating trees, right? Because paper is made from trees. Anyway, so what you're going to do is you're going to scoop the cookie dough onto the cookie sheet, and you're going to flatten the cookie because they don't really flatten out unless you flatten it. So then I placed the cookie sheet into the oven and baked it at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 to 12 minutes. So once it was done baking, I removed the cookie sheet from the oven, and then I allowed it to cool for about 5 minutes on the pan. Then I went ahead and transferred it to a cookie wrap. So you who are watching, I need your help. Can you let me know in the comments what recipe you would like me to bake next? So those of you who are interested how this cookie tastes like, I could definitely taste the whole wheat cookies or the whole wheat flour, but other than that, it tasted like a regular cookie that you can buy or make using butter and eggs. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for bearing with me with this video. I don't know if you could tell, but the lighting was off in some places because it is cloudy. It actually snowed in my area. Here's a picture. Isn't it beautiful? Anyway, guys, thank you again. I will see you on Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bye, guys.
I feel like this is a level up from your crafty mac and cheese at home. A little drunk bar food. Definitely bar food.
Oh, no. What's up, peeps? Welcome back to the channel. We got a big one out there as esports continues to change. The economics of the space, well, a lot of us are suffering, right? A lot of us are broke out there and losing money and don't know what the future is going to be. That maybe can't be said for someone like This Guy Is Toast. Maybe he's losing money in esports, but doing well elsewhere to keep on supporting the space as he is now looking to potentially expand outside of Valorant, where he already holds 2 rosters, which have done very well viewership-wise, very well reception-wise, and potentially into a brand new esport for him, which will be League of Legends if this does fall through. All of this very exciting news considering the recent updates we have had around the NACL. We'll have videos on this in the future. We do apologize for busy, not just the NACL, major esports organizations, the LCS dropping their challenger/academy teams, but beyond that we have some TSN drama we have yet to break down on this channel. Again, we're sorry, but we're here now for this. You son of a gun! If this video ever breaks 100 likes, I'll Zamboni a coffee off this desk. How do we call that even? As Toast took to Twitter to say, yo, who's the best available NA League of Legends player at the moment? Thinking of starting a team. We had Hunter T Sniper, the guy who's the General Sniper, he's a legend. You say, hey, I'd be a pretty good place to start. Which is ironic, I covered General Sniper years ago. What was he, like 13, 14, 15 at the time. He set a couple of records with how young he is in the space. He was actually at one point signed to Cloud9 and then unsigned because he was too young to be signed. Like that's how good he is. Then we had LS responding. He was asking, are you guys looking for a team that's pro player, or an academy pro player, or amateur? And then Papa Smithy with a nice little fun response as well. The one that I really wanted to focus on though was Jack Etienne from Cloud9 saying, hey, check my DMs. Why this is so interesting is because it was actually I think months ago where Etienne was saying, hey, if any organization wants our challenger roster, I'll let them go for free so they can actually compete in the LCS. At the time, that was pretty crazy to say. I don't know if that's going to be the case here, if he's going to give these players to This Guy Is Toast for free. But if so, that's legendary. As at one point he said, hey, LCS teams, please reach out if you're interested in our challenger players. They've had a winning record in scrimmage versus LCS teams, including Cloud9 LCS all year, and they're ready for the LCS stage. You can even take the entire team, and most likely it's an upgrade. He followed up for clarity. I'm giving my challenger team for 0 buyout. It means they play in the LCS. My promise to these players is to develop their skills and give them a platform to get into the LCS. If teams, however, do compete in bids, of course, I need to consider that. So then you go along the lines of, okay, This Guy Is Toast, maybe not going to buy an LCS spot unless TSM and them can exchange a large amount of funds. So what does that mean for negotiations between, Cloud9 and him, or what kind of combination of players is this going to be? LS making a great question of exactly what this team wants to be. Will it be a content team? Will it be an amateur team? Is the goal to be in the academy/challengers? Does he want to eventually own an LCS spot? Where's the end goal for all of this stuff going? But regardless, it's still very exciting to see another content creator, especially now at the time for NALCS and NA League of Legends, and one might say NA Esports. These creator teams are doing a great job, and especially those like Moist Moguls or Moist in general with Ludwig, and of course Charlie. We have others that I forget to mention here using their own funds to actually fund esports right now. It's great to see, and I am super excited. I reached out to Toast a long time ago for an interview about Valorant stuff. I never got back to him. I appreciate his responses. I am hoping to line it up. It's been super busy, but to eventually talk to him about what his plans are in Valorant, in League of Legends, and esports would be an amazing discussion to have, and I would love to do that. So I'm going to try, I promise. But there's still a lot of unanswered questions around all of this, but I do freaking love to see it. What do you guys think about this? This Guy Is Toast going to expand into other esports. How long is he going to be flooding this money in the esports scene? I don't know. But I'm here to talk about it, and I do enjoy it. Some good news for once. Till next time, take care, drink up, don't spill. Okay, bye.
It's a perfect little portion too if you want just something a little refreshing amongst all the fun activities.
So what?
Fun activities. I'm not a big fan of these last round of drinks.
25岁，
我Vibe is great. This is a drunken. Well, I mean, you guys, it's late night happy hour, so it's not after. It's not your after work. Like, let's grab a drink. It's like, let's go get fucked up. Yeah. Did you cut that? Drunken Mac and happy hour. If I was already drunk, I would come. Okay, yeah. After, like, if I went to a nicer happy hour, which is what we did. Yeah. He came here to meet friends and drink some more. It's not fancy. It is. It's a cool spot. Very nice, very attentive. Service is great. Yeah. Come here for Tuesdays. Tuesdays all night, y'all.
GGC 101神手环那个神胆杀神佛胆杀，那个什么站队的都可能不是我的队。好，其实里面都蛮简单，因为我那时候刚打美服，好像都是我可以打基本就打，我好像1个月就2000多。哇，所以那时候最高2200。哎，所以你是不是完全助人是直接用滑的？我那时候觉得现场的玩家比 low 的要强。哎，我觉得我有听说过这个说法。
Any of these recipes, feel free to adjust to dive away from this. The counter. Oh! I like it. I say one.
It 1-for-1. He'll go down, but damn if he didn't play it well.
Fnatic and Bwipo are interested in.
Olivia, League of Legends highlights, powered by ArcaneBet.com. Bet live on esports.
But there we go, the Camille top once again. Yeah, and I think for Fnatic, ideally, hold the own. Okay. That is an old school counter pick with the
chicken camp, but then sets up to maybe make the gank happen anyway. Bjergsen with a flash still available to initiate this. Broxay is here. It will be a 2 versus 2. Bjergsen goes ahead, throws Nemesis back, but now Bjergsen's going to be taken very low. He's stuck in the cage. He can't step on the side. Having a dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge, but first blood still over to Fnatic.
I would invent a freezer that was shaped in a igloo to keep the Arctic cold, or that polar bears can ice skate. I would build a robot that could turn its arm into a vacuum cleaner where it can jump up into the air and suck pollution. I would invent a remote control that controls the fish so that it doesn't eat the plastic. It would be like that big. The robot planter uses solar energy, so it is even better for the planet. I knew it!
Or Veigar spells, or anything really. Once he gets to the Warmog's point, it becomes a different game, and TSM can play more aggressively because of it. We're gonna face check that brush here. Roxa finds him with a cocoon. Brings able to find the stun into more damage going through. Appel keeps the enemy jungler alive, and now Greg is taken down. Fnatic collapse with 4.
Big turn there from Fnatic, punishing
Sometimes I think it's important to just...
Hi, I'm Agent Shroud, and today I'm going to show you how to pair the Jabra Connect 5T in-ear headphones to both an Android phone and a Windows computer.
Sometimes even I get lost in the crazy busy schedule, and I know I love
to Google Fast Pair and Microsoft SwiftPair. Here's what you'll need: Jabra Connect 5T in-ear headphones, an Android phone running Android OS 6.0 or higher. I'll be using the Google Pixel 7, and a Windows computer with Bluetooth and Windows 10 or 11. I'll be using an HP Envy X360 2-in-1 running Windows 11. The steps might be a little different depending on your device. Before we begin, make sure the headphones are fully charged by using a USB-C charger or the included wireless charging patch. You will also want to download and install the Jabra Sound Plus app. Alright, let's get started. First, we'll pair the headphones to the Pixel 7 using Google Fast Pair. Fast Pair makes it easy to pair devices. To do this, make sure Bluetooth is turned on.
And I already recorded a whole video on this, and I was just thinking through, what am I gonna do?
Swipe down from the top of the screen to open the quick settings. Simply tap the option to turn it on if it's not already on. Now swipe up to close quick settings. Next, we need to power on the headphones and put them in pair mode. To do this, take the headphones out of the case or press the left and right buttons on the headphones if they do not power on when removing from the case. The LEDs should be green. Now, press and hold the left and right buttons at the same time for about 3 seconds. The LEDs will flash blue. Bring the headphones close to the phone, and a card will appear showing a picture of the Jabra Connect 5T. Simply tap on the icon to start the pairing process. The screen will show that the devices are connected. Once the in-ear headphones are
First action as head of the Ontario Liberal Party was to increase his salary by raising $1 million from wealthy donors. More for her, less for you. A message from the Ontario PC Party. But her actions tell a different story. As mayor of Mississauga, she billed taxpayers for her luxury cars, personal expenses, carbon offsets, and Amazon Prime. Her first action as head of the Ontario Liberal Party was to increase her salary by raising $1 million from wealthy donors. More for her, less for you. A message from the Ontario PC Party.
It'd be better if they were on the inside of the glass.
The option of configuring Google Assistant, which is Google's voice assistant. I'll press skip for now. However, you can always do it later by tapping on the gear icon to launch settings and then tapping on voice assistant. The Sound Plus app is also where you can customize the features of the Kinect 5T and ensure that the latest firmware is installed. As you can see, my firmware is up to date. Another great feature you can find in the Sound Plus app is a customizable equalizer. Here you can set different levels for bass, mid-range, and treble. If you want an even easier option, you can tap on one of the music presets to give you some quick options. Oh, and one quick note. To get the most out of your headphones and avoid dropouts, it's best to keep the phone within 30 feet of them so the connection remains.
But then again, it just, even though it's yellow, it actually looks really good. Like, it just looks appropriate. It doesn't seem to detract, especially when it's like a...
You can see that the headphones are now paired to my phone. Not bad, right? Alright, let's pair the Kinect 5T to a Windows computer. Just like Google Fast Pair, Microsoft Swift Pair makes the process of pairing easier. First, make sure Swift Pair is enabled on the HP Envy. Swift Pair is available on Windows 10 and Windows 11 machines. This HP Envy has Windows 11, so again, if your machine is running Windows 10, the steps might be a little different. Alright, here we go. Open Settings and click on Bluetooth and Devices. Next, click on View More Devices. Under the Device Settings section, toggle on the option for Show Notifications to connect using Swift.
Is one of those companies I want to get because I built in this case. It was easy to build in. I love the color design. They did nice wide open slots on this front. I mean, I feel like they did something very unique by making these wide open slots on the side of the glass panel so that there's still good airflow, but you have an actual tempered glass on the front to really show off those two front fans. I love that. I feel like AMD is one of those companies that do unique things. And I want you guys to pay attention to this company, and I would definitely say, hey, buy one of these cases. Support this company. This design looks great.
In a game with over 80 characters, there are bound to be a number of unfavorable
record at some point, but
in the last video, we took you through 5 matchups that are without a doubt some of the worst in the game, and
I want to look at what they've got, and I want to
scratch
promote
the
it
surface.
if I think they're doing a good
How's
job.
it going, Smashers? My name is Bonk, and in this video, we'll be taking you through 5 more of the worst matchups in
but
Smash
it's also
Ultimate.
about $68 on Amazon, and that's a really great price.
A quick
the cases have
disclaimer
gone up
before we begin.
due to all the trade
How
war crap.
difficult a
So,
matchup can be is something that
I'm
can't
really,
be
really
objectively
pleased
determined.
with what
While
I got
certain
overall.
matchups may sound
So guys,
unwinnable in theory, nobody is perfect.
Sometimes
the
I just have a
outcome
hard
of a set
time.
will
Reviews
always
can
involve
be difficult
some
because it just
degree
feels
of
like I'm
human
just trying to tell
error,
everyone to
gaps
buy
in
everything.
matchup knowledge,
And
and disparities in skill,
I guess
all
to
of
some
which
degree
can
that's
alter
just
the
how it
results
goes.
quite
But
a bit. And
in the
that's
end,
not to
guys,
mention the
there's a
fact
lot
that
of
the meta
options.
is constantly
Obviously, you should only get
evolving
this
as
case
well.
if you like it.
Try to keep that in
But
mind while
I
you're
think
watching
they're doing
this
a
video.
great job.
Also,
And
if you
this is
haven't
a
already,
great
be sure to
case
check out the
for
first
price
video. We're
in
sure
its
you'll love
tier.
it. All right,
Nice
with that
little
out of the
mini
way, let's
tower.
get right
You can
into
throw
it.
mini
The first
or micro
matchup we'll be
ATX,
taking a look at
mini
today
ATX
is
or
Little
micro
Mac
ATX
versus
motherboards in it.
Pac-Man.
So if you
Unlike
like
some
that
of the
small
previous
form factor,
matchups
small
we've discussed,
footprint,
this
is
one
a
is
great
genuinely
option for you guys.
close to
Gambius
unwinnable
is a
and
company
a strong
I
contender
personally
for the
love.
worst
I love
in the
their aesthetic
game.
designs, and
It's
that's
only
why
natural,
I would
after
like to
all.
support
What happens
them
when you take a
and promote
character
them.
with virtually
So guys,
no air game
that's
and
kind
put
of
him up
a
against
weird
a
approach to
character that can
review,
put
I
down
know,
a literal
but
wall?
I
Well,
I wanted to make
literally,
sure
it's
you
a
guys
fire
understood
hydrant,
that there's
you get the point.
I really
Because
do like
Little
what
Mac
I'm
can't
doing
simply
here,
jump
and I
over
really do
Pac-Man's
like
fire
this company.
hydrant.
Like I'm not
He
just
has to
trying to get a
challenge
review.
it head on
I
from
get
the
to
ground,
keep samples, but I
which
don't
leaves
get
him
paid
with
for
a
the stuff,
very,
guys. I mean, I get some ad
limited
dollars
number
through
of
AdSense,
options,
and that's
to
about
say
it.
the least.
I'm not getting
One of these
paid
options is
sponsorships or
just
anything.
committing to
So I'm
swinging
not,
at the
I'm not
hydrant
doing
with
this
one of his
to get
powerful
rich.
grounded
I
normals,
genuinely
but
love
this
these
leaves
things.
him
I love
especially
the
open,
companies
as not
that
only is
aren't
he
the
committing
big
to the
brand
full
names. They're the most interesting to me, and I want them to get the recognition that I think they deserve. So guys, you know what? Let me know what you think in the comments. You may agree with me or disagree with me. You know, I get it. I understand. It's
when
a
you
weird
take a
world
chance,
that YouTube is.
chance can
It's
take
hard
you
trust
to
a lot
unexpected
of things going
places.
on out there. But hey, I hope you guys take me for what it's worth and trust that I'm being sincere. And trying to do the best I can here. So yeah,
Bet
anyway
Rivers
guys, let me
Online
know in the
Casino.
comments what you think.
Feel the rush.
Like and subscribe though if you want to keep me going and
Attack
keep me
animation,
trying to
but
just
hitting the
show you
hydrant will cause
unique
him to
and
incur
interesting
additional
products
hit lag,
and giving you
prolonging
my
the duration of his animation. This
will catch you
often
later.
results in Pac-Man getting a pretty substantial punish on the Little Mac
I
player,
have been
and disadvantage is
racking my
another
brain
area where the matchup is
figure out
incredibly
some way I
difficult,
can
but
get
more on that in
everyone's
just a second.
attention
The other
on
option Little
why
Mac has
a
when
good
responding to Fire
headset
Hydrant
really
is
matters.
simply waiting.
So,
This
I think
option
I
has
finally
the
come up
least
with something.
immediate
You
risk,
need
but
to
doesn't
take
exactly
your
generate any
$30
counterplay
headsets.
either. The Pac-Man
need to
player will
dump
take this opportunity to make a trip to the grocery store, where they can freely and safely pick up any bonus fruit they deem necessary. Having this bonus fruit in their possession will make their advantage a lot
Hey guys,
more
hardware
potent,
hound
which
here,
can be
and
problematic
I
for the Little Mac player when
burning a headset's a little extreme, and I'm
they
not
inevitably
seriously
lose
saying to
stage
go out
control
and
for
burn
trying
your
to
headsets. But
engage with Pac-Man.
I
That's
don't
just
wanna beat this
neutral, and
quality
we
audio
already
thing to death. What I've noticed in the past is when I've done any kind
have a
of audio
clear
review, whether it be
lose-lose
a good
situation.
headset
Now,
or
what happens
a good motherboard or anything like that, it seems like
in the
they just
disadvantage
get
you ask?
zero attention.
Absolutely
And
everything.
I think it
Little
was
Mac can't
mostly my
land,
fault,
Little
right?
Mac can't get out of the corner,
Because
Little
I
Mac
started
can't
realizing I
recover.
come to the
Pac-Man's
review
assortment
from,
of
like, an
space-occupying
audiophile
threats
perspective.
from the
And so I'm starting to
aforementioned
talk about
fire
sound,
hydrant and bonus
stage,
fruit to the
and,
deceptively
you know,
dangerous
pure
trampoline
sound
left
and
behind by
clarity
Pac Jump
and
all
all
enable
these
him to
terms to
completely
try to explain why
suffocate
this
Little Mac
sounds so
when he has the
amazing, and it just dawned on
advantage.
me.
To make
I'm
matters
probably
worse,
talking
Pac-Man
in
isn't
terms
reliant
that,
on these
you know,
special
90% of
moves at
people
all
can't
because
relate
this
to.
zoner got
I mean,
hands.
90% of
His
people
frame data
who
leaves him
are
especially
building
well
computers
equipped to combo Little Mac,
probably don't
box him in
care
neutral if
about having the
necessary,
greatest
and his
quality
low percent
sound.
fair train
And
send
for the
at a
10%
very
who
difficult
do,
angle for Little
you
Mac
know,
to
most of those
recover
are probably
from,
just wanna
often
be
resulting in gimps
audiophiles,
at
and true
exceptionally low
audiophiles are probably
percents.
this little
With virtually
tiny
no
subset
counterplay when
of-
the matchup is
of
played
computer
correctly,
builders out
we
there
think this may be one
are
of the
really gonna care
worst
about the
matchups
details,
in
and it just
Smash
dawned on me.
Ultimate.
Well, then
The
I'm not
next
really
matchup
helping
we're going to be
anybody out
talking
because
about is
audiophiles
Sheik
already
versus
know.
Yoshi.
And other
At
people
first glance,
who don't
this
understand
matchup
the,
may not
the,
seem like it'd
the
be all that
benefits of
bad,
quality
so
sound.
let's take a
I'm
look
not
at
even
what
speaking
makes
to
this
guys.
one of
So
the
I-
worst,
this is
starting
my,
with the neutral.
last attempt
A lot
to
of
really
people
try
think that neutral is Sheik's
reach
strength,
out to you
and
guys to
while
be a
she
help.
isn't
So
exactly
I'm not,
horrible
like,
at
trying
it,
to just beat
it's
this into
really
the ground,
average
guys.
at
I really
best.
want to just be
Her frame data,
helpful
shield
if I
safe
can
aerials,
assist.
and high
And here's when
mobility
it
all
dawned on me
seem
how
like
to
they'd
do it.
give her a
So,
pretty solid
I
neutral,
went ahead
but her low
and
damage
I had
per
my
hit and
speakers,
honest
I turned them on,
hitboxes
and I
tend to
leveled
hold
them
it
and
back.
adjusted everything, and I was
This,
like, all right,
combined
bring my
with the
wife in here.
fact
Come
that
on, check
she's
this out.
incredibly light,
And
the sixth
I
lightest
have her listen
character in the
speakers
game, in
on, right?
fact,
Now put
means
these up.
that there is almost
And she
nothing
listens,
to
and she just kinda gives me this, like,
disincentivize
kind
the
of blank
opponent
stare.
from
And she's like,
directly challenging
well, it just sounds
everything
like these
she
are
does.
just louder, like close
Most
to my
characters
ears.
will have the
And I was like,
hitboxes to outright
figures.
beat most of her normals.
But then I was talking
Even
to my
if they
friend
end
at
up
work, and all of a
trading,
sudden
the
things
trades
started
will
to click
almost
with me, and I was
certainly
like, wait.
favor the opponent.
And he was kind of
This holds
explaining too.
true
I don't-
for
I don't
Yoshi
really
to
care
an
what they sound like, as
exceptional
long as they
degree,
can-
and
as long as I
he's
can hear it, it's
practically
good.
the
It dawned on
exact
me,
opposite of Sheik in terms
louder.
of design.
Guys.
His disproportionately generous
Audiophiles are gonna
hitboxes
kill
and
me
incredibly
right now,
high
but I
damage
don't
per
care
hit,
because I think
not
it's
to
gonna be
mention
really
being
helpful for all of
equivalent in weight to
You
characters
want
like
a
Captain
good
Falcon and
quality
Link, all
headset
provide him with the
because it's
ideal
louder.
counterplay to a character
Now,
like
I don't
Sheik.
mean like literal, like you can crank the volume. What I'm saying, guys, is you're just gonna hear things better.
Tiny sports
and you may not
While
consciously
Sheik
be like,
is
oh,
carefully
this sounds
spacing
more
herself
quality,
and timing
I
her
can- it
normals to
sounds more
apply
real.
safe
You may
pressure
not
and
care about
neutral,
that.
the Yoshi
But if
player
you're
is
playing
going
a
to be rolling their
competitive
face
game
on the
or a
controller
game
and
where they
beating
put a lot of
absolutely
audio
everything.
cues,
One
like,
mutual
for
point of
instance,
difficulty in the matchup is in edge guarding. Both characters can prove significantly difficult for the other to edge guard, Sheik being extremely slippery with her mobility and invulnerable vanish up special, and Yoshi having his armored flutter jump. This difficulty impacts Sheik a lot more than Yoshi, however, as she's far more reliant on her advantage to rack up damage and secure stocks, while Yoshi can get a lot of mileage out of winning neutral exchanges as well as his highly potent combos. We felt this matchup was worth mentioning as
everything is louder. That's why you do it, guys.
We take the
Even if you don't care about super great quality sound, if you just want to hear things in your games
like the
better,
always fun Capital
it is worth
Games,
it.
where
The
every
$30
spin gives you a
headsets,
shot at
they
real
are going
cash
to
prizes.
miss
Plus,
those
there's
details.
thousands more
You're just
exciting
not gonna
slot
hear
and
'em.
table games to
That's
choose
it,
from,
guys.
so
That's
the
why
next thrill
we
is
care about
never
this
far
stuff.
away.
So we're not
take
trying
a
to say,
chance.
hey, you're
Feel
worse
the
than us
rush of
because you don't
play
care or
and
don't
download
hear
the
about
app.
those things. No, not at all. I think the real problem is we're just not explaining it to you guys in a way
It's one of the hardest among two strong characters, but it's far from unwinnable, and there is counterplay. If you need help figuring out counterplay for matchups that you struggle with, or just getting better at the game in general, don't forget to head over to ProGuides.com after the video. Back to the matchups with no substantial counterplay.
Don't forget,
the next matchup we're going to be taking a look at is Robin versus Olimar. This matchup is vaguely similar to the Samus versus Duck Hunt matchup we covered in the last video, in that it's a case of zoner versus zoner, except one zoner
version 1.5
doesn't really get to zone. This is for two
DAC amplifier combo. It's like $100 on Amazon.
Reasons.
Now,
firstly,
if
any Pikmin are attached
to the people who really like more music quality,
but if
you're
Robin,
just looking for something that is going to give you some better sound and a little bit louder, another great option is a little bit cheaper.
This is because Robin's projectiles
DAC Magic XS
overlap with parts of their body when appearing, and may hit
it's $75 on Amazon. It's powered by a USB
Pikmin
port
before they can begin to travel.
And it will turn any headset into something that's going to be better, more loud
quality,
exactly
the Pikmin is attached and isn't completely consistent, but not
So, guys, if you don't
whether
have
your projectile is going to work or not can be
sound DAC or whatever's driving your headsets,
devastating for a character that somewhat relies on zoning.
Elite Atlas, I highly recommend this headset still. This is going to be I'm
this
not going to beat this in
Pikmin
the ground
throw
anymore,
an extremely
guys.
dangerous tool in the matchup.
And even if you guys are like, well, I don't
and it's
play,
worth noting that Purple Pikmin in particular
beat online games, I don't get competitive,
every move
I don't
Robin
need to hear
has.
sounds.
Robin's frame data makes removing Pikmin require an uncomfortable degree of commitment, but while it'd be best to avoid getting hit by them entirely, Robin isn't exactly happy about that either. Robin's best tools for beating out Pikmin throw are their Levin sword aerials, but using it to swat Pikmin burns its durability and makes it so you can't use it as much once you manage to get in. Even then, there's the issue of yellow Pikmin, which are immune to Levin sword attacks as well as thunder and its variations because they're immune to electric damage.
And we're going to
Once
talk
the
about
Pikmin are on
how
Robin,
to
their best
set
tools
up
for removing them are going to
this
be their
Turtle
up
Beach
tilt
headset to
and
sound
down tilt.
really good.
These are some
on
of their
your
least
because
laggy
Windows doesn't
normals and
default
don't
very
use up the durability of
So
their
if you
Levin
just
sword,
go
making
here
them
to
ideal for
search,
safely removing
and
Pikmin,
we can
but
just type
given
in like
Robin's
speaker,
frame
and you'll
data,
see this
they're
manage
far
audio
from being
devices
completely
comes up.
safe. As with many
So
horrible
you'll see
matchups,
all the
it's actually
playback
not
devices
that bad once
right
the Robin manages to
here.
get in, and Robin's
And
ledge
so
trapping
here's
can be
the second
especially
output,
potent.
Realtek. If I double click
Unfortunately,
or
to
hit
get there, they
properties,
have to
either
win
one,
the neutral first.
I will
For
come
that reason,
here
we
to
think
some
this
extra
is one of the
settings.
worst matchups
There's
in the
levels,
game.
so
Well,
I can
that's that for
set
a matchup that
the
Olimar
microphone
excels in,
or
but what
speaker
if we told
volume.
you he can find himself at both ends of a one-sided
This
matchup?
right here is the
Let's
key,
talk about
guys.
Olimar versus Zelda.
So you see how it says
As
2
a
channel
zoner,
32-bit
Olimar can get a
192
bit
hertz.
uncomfortable when he
This
isn't able to zone.
is
Nehru's
the
love is crucial in this matchup. Not even because it
audio
gets used
sampling rate.
particularly
That's what they
often,
call
but
it.
the fact
Now,
that it exists
this is showing
disincentivizes the
32-bit
Olimar player from
192
throwing Pikmin
kilohertz,
at Zelda.
192,000
Playing around
hertz,
this
or
results in a
192
game of
kilohertz
chicken, where the
as a
Olimar
max.
can try to
But
bait out
here's
the
the thing.
reflector by feigning
If you
a
don't
Pikmin
install the
toss,
right driver,
or they
you
can
won't
throw it
get
if they think the
32
Zelda
and
doesn't
44
actually
right here.
intend on reflecting
So
it. This
I'm going
is
to just close
somewhat
this out
high
because I've got my
risk,
settings.
and
So
so the
you need to
Olimar will often
install
opt to play
the
around their
Gigabyte
other tools instead,
Realtek.
attempting
Well,
to
I've got a
approach from
Gigabyte
the air
model,
with
so
their
you need to
forward
install
air
the
and back
Realtek
air,
driver.
and
Now,
occasionally
if you
looking for a
install the
grab
Windows
if they
10
can
one,
spot a shield.
you're going to get an
The
app
reason
that's
this
called
is
this
difficult is
Realtek
because of
Audio
Zelda's Phantom
Console.
Slash. Not only does it
So if
act
I
as a
open it
zoning
up,
tool in its own
this
right,
is what
but
you
the
got.
fully
So like
charged
here's the
Phantom
main,
can
you
serve
got
as a
volumes,
very
various
large,
things.
very
There's your
disjointed
digital output,
anti-air.
unless you're
There
using
can
that,
be
there's not
counterplay
anything there.
if the Olimar
So
player
this
manages to
Turtle
get
Beach is an
Purple
analog
Pikmin, as it's
headset.
the only
I have
one that deals
speakers,
knockback,
so
and
this would
interrupting
actually
the charge
be for my
can be
speakers.
very
If I
valuable.
want to get to my
Still,
headset,
Zelda
I'm on
does
a
appear to
second
have a
output
slight
here.
advantage in the neutral. The
Now,
advantage
once I've
isn't great
installed
as
this,
well,
you see the
mostly
default
due to
format.
Phantom
I can
Slash
set it
preventing
here too.
Olimar
This
from
will set
committing to
both in
reads on
Windows
various
and here. But I
landing and
prefer to set
corner
settings
options,
here
and
in
generally
the Realtek
preventing
app.
him from
So
securing
bam,
stocks
I've
until
got it
higher percents.
maximum rate.
The
That is
disadvantage
really
can
important
also
for
be
getting
tough,
the most
as
out of
Olimar's
this
recovery
headset.
is
If you don't
particularly
set this
easy
to the
for
highest
Zelda to
format,
snipe with Din's
you
fire,
will
and
be
her
missing
ledge
out. Now,
trapping is especially
some people might say, well, you can't really hear above 48 3800 hertz, 24 bits. I kind of disagree. I feel like I can definitely hear a difference. Maybe somewhere around like 192,000 hertz and 24 bits. It's starting to be a little harder to tell.
Chance can take
But if
you
you pull
to
up a FLAC
unexpected
file,
places.
I think you can still tell the difference. So yeah, recommend going as high as you can go. It's not going to hurt your processing power any.
Whoa.
On this
Bet Rivers
particular, you can see
Online
here, I've
Casino.
already set
Feel
an
the rush.
equalizer, Elite Atlas. Bam.
Due to
I even
Phantom
named it.
Slash's coverage. Not to mention
It was
Olimar's
interesting.
already subpar
So you can
ledge
see I
options.
didn't have to
While
mess with
this may
really
not be
any
one
of the
worst matchups
equalizations
in the
towards the
game,
higher
it's
frequencies. They all
definitely a
sound
hard
great.
one,
And,
and one where a seemingly
but once I
strong
get to
character
about
gets hard
here,
countered by
I started
a
bulk
seemingly
boosting
not
the
so
base.
strong character.
And then here,
last matchup
boosted
we'll
the
be
base
covering
more. Now this
today
is like
is
normal
Ice
base
Climbers
frequency.
versus Hero.
This
Ice
guy
Climbers
here,
have
and I
a
mentioned
lot
I
of
put this
horrible
out in my
matchups,
review
and we
video.
think
This guy
this
here,
may be
I've
one of the
never
worst.
heard it make
When
a
the
difference
matchup
in
is
sound
played correctly,
until this
they
Turtle
simply
Beach
can't
headset.
get in.
Like,
Their poor
I was
mobility
listening
and
to
stubby
that
hitboxes make them
violin dubstep
particularly
music,
easy to keep out
and
with
I could
Hero's
actually
powerful
hear
zoning
resonance
game, and
increase
between
big time
zap and
by
zap
boosting
along
it.
the
So I
ground
boosted
and
it pretty
forward
high.
air to
12
keep
was
them
just
from
like,
approaching
a
by
little,
air,
you know,
the
10
Ice
might be
Climbers
high for
can
most
really
people, and you might
struggle
like
to
8.
lay a
Well,
finger
I
on
doubt it.
Hero.
Probably 10.
Additionally, this
A lot of people
strong
might still
keep-away
12.
game
But
provides Hero with
this
ample
Turtle Beach
opportunities
headset
to
can
look through his
handle
menu
this
for
frequency
additional
on the
spells,
equalizer, right?
and when
Just
he has
thrilled
access
me
to this
to
assortment
be
of
able to hear
supplementary
that.
zoning
It was
tools
great.
as well as powerful
So yeah,
buffs, he can
these are
become
kind of the settings you'll need to
extraordinarily
set.
dangerous
Microphone
character.
wise, I'm
It's
actually
also
using a
worth
headset
mentioning that
while
the
I'm doing a
majority
screen
of his
capture.
spells are
So you'll
capable
notice I
of
put just a
separating the
slight
two as well,
boost.
and
20
Ice
was really
Climbers
loud, so
don't
10 was
exactly
nice just to make
function
that
as a
voice come through a
character
little more
once they're
clear.
separated. To
Main
make
volume all
matters
the way up.
worse,
You can
Hero
also
is
set
practically
a
never
bit
going
rate,
to run out of
an audio
MPT.
resolution
Gaming
rate
with
for the
Bet Rivers can
microphone.
be fun.
And, once
and you
again,
can
I would
keep it
still
that way
recommend
with our
you
responsible
can't
gaming
technically
tools,
hear
like
the
time and
difference,
deposit
but still
limits,
go as
so
high
you
as
can
you can
manage
go
your
because it's
play
not going
and
to
do
hurt
other
the
things,
performance
like spend
of
more
your
time with
computer.
the people you
Now
love.
this is the
Dan?
Windows 10 app. Let's go
Daniel?
ahead and jump over my other test bench because I could not get this app to install and show you what the Windows 7 app looks like because it's a good backup option if you can't get the Realtek Windows 10 app to work.
Bet Rivers responsible
Alright, so
gaming
I jumped
tools.
over here
They're here
to
for you.
the
Take a chance
Gigabyte website
responsibly.
for my motherboard. So yeah, I have the
Use these
X470
specials either,
Aorus
as he
Gaming
gets
7.
twice the amount
And
of
so
MP for
when you get to the
hitting
home page,
both
this is what it
climbers.
looks like. And if you
Once
hold
Hero
this
gets the
port
advantage,
tab,
things can really
you
start
can
to
see
snowball.
all the drivers.
His edge guarding
So
is especially
here it
potent
is to the
against
audio
the
is
Ice
the first
Climbers,
one.
and his Kaswoosh
And
setups
you'll
in particular
notice that
are
there's this
notably
Realtek audio
consistent at
driver,
catching
which
their
is the
low
Windows 10
recoveries.
version
All in all,
1903
you have a matchup where the
supported.
Hero player can
That-
simply decide
that
to win.
released recently.
Their
I'll
zoning
have to
tools
try that
are
and see if it
so
works.
effective in the matchup that
So
there's
the
practically
driver
no
I tried to
incentive
install
for them to take
was
initiative
not
unless they
working
want to
at all. I
hit
could
the
not
opponent's
get the,
shield for
you know,
some
if I
extra
come down
MP,
here and I type
and
in
it's
Realtek,
just a matter of how long
you'll
it
see
takes for
folders,
the
but you
Ice
won't see
Climbers
the app.
player
The
to
app
give in.
just wouldn't install.
While
Not
they
on this
can
board.
get a lot of
Oops.
mileage out of their potent
So
advantage,
I
especially
downloaded the
given
Windows
Hero's
7
subpar
one.
landing
And you can
options,
actually
they
download
almost
this
never
Windows
make
7
it to that point,
64-bit
and
driver.
so their counterplay is
You
especially
can just
limited.
download it and
For
install
these
it
reasons,
on
we
Windows
think
10.
this is
So
potentially
when
one
you
of the
install a
worst
Windows 7
matchups
app,
in Smash
you'll see the
Ultimate.
typical
That's it
Realtek
for this
HD
video.
audio manager.
Thanks
If
for
you guys
watching,
are using
Smashers.
Windows
These
7,
were some of our
then
picks
this
for the
is
worst
the
matchups in
task,
Smash
the
Ultimate.
program
Did
you're
we miss
looking for
any you
running
wanted to
in the
see?
taskbar.
Let us know in the
Double-click
comments
that,
below.
will bring your
While you're
settings
down
up
there,
here.
don't forget to subscribe
So,
and click that bell so you can be
as you can see,
notified
we're on
when we upload
speakers
new
on this
videos.
because I have my headset
That's
plugged
all,
into the
and
back
we'll see you
panel.
guys in the next
case,
video.
so I'll have speakers hooked to my test bench. So yeah, coming here to sound effects. Here you'll see on the equalizer, I'm using Elite Atlas. You got to change to, if you click on down there, you can do all these presets, and then if you you click here, you can use like one of these little quick shortcuts and stuff. But if you want to actually manually change the EQ, you click on that little bar here. And then I did the same thing using another computer, 10, 4, and 2 on the bass to really boost that up. And so that way you can adjust that EQ. Once again, here's your default format. Like even on this computer with a better motherboard, if I don't install this Realtek, you know, the Windows 10 app, because it kept failing, I could not come to the full 32 bits, 192,000 hertz quality. Now notice how on this app, though it's all out of order, 32 bits, 192,000 hertz is your best quality. You know, they all say studio quality, this is going to be your highest. You know, you want the highest hertz you can get. So yeah, same thing with the microphone. You come here, default format. It has it here. This time I better order the recording volume, boost, same settings. This is just what the Windows 7 app would look like. If you can't get the Windows 10 app to install, or if you are using Windows 7. So I hope this guide's helpful, guys. Help you understand how to get the most out of really any speaker audio equipment. You know, just check those Windows settings, set these default formats as high as you can go, and tweak your EQ. If you tweak your EQ, if your app will let you, that's great. Windows will not give you these settings. Install your Realtek drivers to get some more options. You'll need slightly higher end motherboards to get all these kind of things too. Alright guys, I'll catch you later.
Yeah, East Coast. Soft goal, droning, I will get it.
Blitz is in. Tag
hey guys, Hardware Hound here, and welcome to part 3 of why graphics cards in 2019 are terrible. And yeah, this is the last part, and so we already talked about ray tracing, you know what it doesn't support?
Don't worry about it. They're just going to do this probably every round now. Going to go direct.
No crossfire. A game completely designed for the ground up for not only just Radeon, but even Ryzen. I mean, it's on their intro, you know, logo like promotion page. You know, you first turn on the game and these screens show up that show Ryzen and Radeon. Doesn't support crossfire. And I was like,
30 HP.
You know, I already kind of agree. I mean, when Jay's 2 cents came out and said Crossfire, that was it for me. That was when I knew I needed to figure something out. But seeing that just confirmed it hard. Like, multi-GPU is going to be dead. And it's sad because I love it. It's my favorite thing too. But hey, we're where we're at. So I'm looking at Borderlands 3, and if I just want some decent settings, I'm getting like 30, 40 frames per second. I'm like, I can't play that. So I started looking into an option, and so the problem is I was thinking of getting something around, you know, about the $250 range, and you know, for that it's just like an RX 580, and that's not really going to improve my performance any because RX 580 is only slightly better than an R9 290X, and without crossfire, so I was looking at numbers and thinking to get a sizable boost, I would need to be around the 1660 to 1660 Ti level of performance. And that was kind of hard to find. And those cards are closer, you know, around $300. And so I was just like, what am I going to do? So I said, well, maybe I could look at something. Sure enough, right in smack dab between 1660 and 6060 Ti was the GTX 980 Ti. And this guy is old school, but it still has really great performance. And I was like, wonder how much I could get one of those on eBay. Guys, I was able to buy this 980 Ti, the Gigabyte with the WindForce G1 Gaming, one of the, you know, pretty well accepted ones back then as far as cooling and performance concerned, for under $200 even after shipping. And that is a deal. To basically get GTX 1660, 1660 Ti levels of performance, but pay about $100 less for it. And this card has been working great. Now, here's the thing, guys. When you're doing eBay buying, you've got to do your homework. Look at your sellers. Make sure they're, like, particularly if you're buying in the US, make sure your seller's US-based. Sometimes you can get weird variants and things that don't cross over. It's a lot easier to get refunds if something doesn't work out. eBay is very buyer-friendly, and they will pretty much refund for. I know I've sold things on eBay, and I've pretty much had to refund things that I thought,
This is not
We need
good.
some presence in,
you can't really argue it.
Zombie there as
And
well.
as long as you're timely
I'm gonna
and you're
surrender.
efficient and you make sure you don't wait too long, you can
That's
pretty
one
easily
down.
if somebody
Nice.
sends
One
you
down.
something that
Right,
doesn't work. Get your money back. Don't go off eBay. Don't do any deals out. Somebody's saying,
Clear.
"Well, I'll sell this to you, but you're, you know, I'd like to, you know, can we do this price?" Don't do that. You go through eBay. You'll have your buyer protections there. Guys, this card's been fantastic. Like, I found a guy who had good customer reviews. I gave him an offer. He accepted a counter offer after a bit. And or I think as more I accepted the counter offer. But this has been a performer. So when it came to my Crossfire setup, like Rise of the Tomb Raider supports Crossfire, and when I jump from that to this card, I may lose about 5-10%. You can see, you know, I did some screen captures just to kind of show you a rough playthrough. You can see that, you know, overall my frame rate was a little bit higher with my Crossfire setup than this. So, you know, maybe a little hit, but not enough to really matter. However, new games that I'm playing now that just don't support Crossfire are guaranteed almost never going to. I was playing, I love Spyro, guys. When Spyro Remastered came out on PlayStation 4, I got it immediately. Then I found out it was coming out to PC. I was like, well, I'm going to own it on PC too. And then Humble Bundle had a deal. I was like, yes! So I got Spyro. It doesn't support Crossfire, and you can see with an NVIDIA card, I'm getting close to like double performance on that, which is awesome. But like I said, Borderlands 3, that surprised me. It didn't support Crossfire at all. And as you can see there too, I'm getting almost double frame rates with the GTX 980 Ti than I was on the single R9 290X, which is sad because I'd probably be doing really good if it supported Crossfire. But Crossfire and dual GPU setups are pretty much a Let me know what you think of this video though, and what you think of my ideas of looking for use in a GTX 980 Ti. And I will catch you later.
Gonna come library, crime.
Yeah, I'm watching it, I'm watching that. Oh, picking me from piano.
I got the mute.
Yep,
Hey guys, Hardware Hound back with you in my little series of explaining why graphics cards in 2019 are terrible. Let's talk about the actual graphics cards themselves. So we touched on ray tracing, and I explained why it's kind of awful and terrible and great, you know, awful and awesome all at the same time. But now let's talk about the actual cards. So the problem is that right now we've got some pretty nice releases, right? On NVIDIA's side, if you want ray tracing, you can get the RTX series, but you're going to pay pretty heavily for them. They did, though, amidst all the complaints that RTX wasn't worth it and worth the money, they released a lot of these GTX 1600 series. And
then AMD came back and they released their first Navi card, their RX 5700 XT and 5700, and then NVIDIA was like, oh crap, that's some good performance, good price points, and so then they started releasing the Super Series, which are these minor 10% uplifts from the original GTX cards, and we're just oversaturated with all these cards that in a year's time are probably going to be absolutely obsolete. So guys, I would not buy a graphics card unless you are the kind of person who you have the money that you do a graphics card upgrade yearly. Then sure, grab one of these cards, because I think NVIDIA and AMD are doing some good things. I would fully support, supporting the company. I totally want to see them succeed. But if you're like me and you're on a really tight budget, don't buy these cards. Let's talk about NVIDIA first. Ray tracing. Now, like I said, it's awesome for the future. I think everybody's going to be wanting a ray tracing card eventually. But it's no stretch to say that NVIDIA's first iteration of that is not all that it could be. Ray tracing is taking huge impacts on game performance. And let's face it, it's going to take some time to figure it out. And especially if you're doing hardware level ray tracing, the first release of anything is usually like it's going to have some massive improvements right in the second generation. So we've already got the fact that by the time NVIDIA releases a new card, we're probably going to have much better ray tracing anyway, which you're supposed to release next year. But here's another big, huge reason why it's not worth buying all these GTX like 1660, 6060 Ti's, Super Series. NVIDIA's still on the 14nm process node. Next year, they should be jumping to 7nm with their new architecture. That's not only going to have a massive leap in power efficiency, but also there's going to be architectural changes to their GPUs, which means we're probably going to see some massive performance leaps. So if you buy any of the GTX or RTX cards that released this year or even last year, you're probably going to see a massive improvement next year. It's going to make you really feel like you got shortchanged. So then maybe you should just buy an AMD card, RX 5700 XT. No, don't do that. So there is a rumor mill that says that 5700 XT is going to get ray tracing support. Yay! Go out and buy one. Except that's going to be some kind of driver or software level thing, almost assuredly. We don't know until it actually happens, if it happens. But according to the other rumor mill, Navi 2 is going to have hardware level ray tracing support. And another thing that kind of backs up that rumor is the fact that the PS5 is supposed to have ray tracing support as well. That's all supposed to come out next year. Now, while ray tracing on a software level might work, long-term wise, it's probably going to obsolete itself really quick. You're probably going to want a hardware level ray tracing card, which you should definitely wait for next year. Second off, one of the things that AMD is saying Navi 2 is going to be is the, quote, NVIDIA killer. Now, I'll believe it when I see it, because they also have to respond to whatever NVIDIA is releasing new as well. But regardless of whether it's an NVIDIA killer or not, we're probably going to see Navi 2 have a ginormous uplift from Navi. In fact, AMD has already said that Navi 2, in comparison to Navi, is going to be very similar to what Zen 2 was to Zen 1. So if you guys remember, Zen 1 included not only the Ryzen 1000 series chips, but also the slightly, revamped Ryzen 2000 series chips. But when they went to Ryzen 3000, that was when they actually got Zen 2 architecture. Seems a little confusing? I know. Number schemes can always be that way. Point is that when you look at first gen versus second gen Zen, architecturally wise, yeah, massive performance increase, awesome. If that does happen, and there's pretty good reason to suspect that's going to happen, there's going to be huge performance uplift next year, and everything that you bought this year is going to be obsolete. So I would not touch any, if you're on a tight budget at all, or as somebody who only upgrades every 2 to 3 years, I would not touch what's come out this year. Now that being said, you might be looking at me and saying, well, Hardware Hound, my graphics card crapped out on me. I really want to get something. I would like to get some better performance, or I just got this new game, and like Borderlands 3, and I'm barely getting 40 frames out of it. I gotta do something. I have a solution for you guys that I think will help tide you over for a year, get you some really good performance, and save you quite a bit of money. So I'm going to put that video in the link in the description below. Don't forget to check out my first video where I talk about ray tracing in a little more detail. And I'm going to try to help you guys stay away from the cards this year for those of you who are on tight budgets, but still get some gaming performance that'll tide you over till next year, where I think we're going to see some awesome stuff, and it's going to be well worth the wait to put extra money into a nice card next year. Like and subscribe if you want to keep me going. Let me know what you think of these thoughts, and I will catch you later. Hey guys, Hardware Hound here, and welcome to my little video series on why graphics cards in 2019 are terrible. And quite frankly, guys, the reason why I'm doing this in 3 parts is I want to stay on subject, and I want to try to really get down into basically why this is not a good year to grab a brand new graphics card. So, you know, Christmas time, Thanksgiving, Black Friday, all that stuff is coming up, and it's like, I would hold off. I wouldn't pull the trigger on any kind of new card this year. And so to start this off, I'm going to talk about ray tracing. So ray tracing is awful. It's terrible. As you guys probably know, one of the biggest problems with ray tracing is that even though NVIDIA's RTX series of graphics cards have hardware-level ray tracing, it kills performance in games. Like, it just flat out devastates frame rates. So you're looking at needing something like an RTX 2070 minimum just to get something decent. You probably really want something like an RTX 2080, and the simple fact is as soon as you enable that ray tracing feature, right now, it's killing performance in games, and a lot of people are kind of scratching their heads and saying, this isn't worth it. And then there's things that, like NVIDIA did this advertising campaign when Minecraft got ray tracing. And it's like, oh my goodness, they show you a shot of RTX off, and then they show you with RTX on. Now, to be fair, looks like their website explains what's going on. But any person who understands would realize how misleading that side-by-side is, because it isn't just ray tracing that made Minecraft look realistic. You also have to have a texture pack as well. In fact, I was able to go back, and it looks like as early as January of 2014, there was texture packs that were making Minecraft look amazing. So ray tracing is kind of dumb in that regard. Like, what's the point? If it's just making our games look a little prettier, but people have been making games look prettier anyway, ray tracing is kind of stupid. And yet, ray tracing
Stellst du dir vor, was im Leben alles möglich wäre? So wie ich einst? Oder hat das Schicksal für uns entschieden?
scrape anything out, just use the whole cookie. You're also going to need some cream cheese that's at room temperature, and then you can choose what you want, but I'm using bittersweet chocolate chips and white chocolate chips so that we can dunk them in. And I'm going to interchange them and kind of show you what I do with that. So I'm going to set these aside, and I have my blender here, and what I'm going to do is just blend all these cookies together first, because it's just easier instead of just mixing everything at once. So you want to just blend this until it's like a fine powder. That's what it should look like. Good enough. I'm going to go ahead and scrape the sides down. That filling is a little bit damp, so it'll kind of look like wet sand, which is okay. So I'm a little bit at a time. I'm going to add my cream cheese in. And I do a little bit at a time because my blender is not that great. So if you have a fantastic blender, go ahead and do everything all together and you'll be fine. Blend this up. So now once you have your last bit of cream cheese in here, you want to blend it until it's extremely blended well together. So once you get it all blended well, just blend it for another 30 seconds because sometimes the cream cheese will kind of ball up and have little clumps. So I'll show you what it looks like when it's fully blended. So this is what it should look like once it's all thoroughly blended. And what I do is I take just a tablespoon measure and I scoop out a little bit, and then you just kind of gently with your fingers just roll it into a ball and then place it on a baking sheet lined with some parchment paper, because what we're going to do is freeze these so that we're able to dip them in chocolate. Oh, it's just so good. So just do all these and then we can go on to the next step. So they're completely rolled. This is how many you're going to get. You get quite a few depending on how big or small you make them. It's really up to you. But I find it's better to make them small because then you get more stuff covered in chocolate that way. So now all we're going to do is put these in the freezer for about 15 minutes. If you notice, some of them kind of fall flat after a while because of the warm temperature. The cream cheese is really soft. So if that happens to you and you want them to be perfectly circle, you know, in circumference, you can throw them in the freezer, take them out, roll them up nice again, immediately throw them in the freezer for an additional 15 minutes, then dunk them. That way you'll have the perfect shape, but I don't care about that. So 15 minutes for me, and then we're going to dunk them. Dunk. The Oreo balls are almost done. They've got about 4 minutes left, so I'm going to start melting my chocolate down. So all I do is melt it in the microwave. It's real simple. I just put it in a microwave-safe bowl. 30-second increments, mix, 30 seconds, mix, 30 seconds, mix until it's really nice and liquidy, and then we can dunk them. Dunk them. I did that. The chocolate's nice and melted, and if it just so happens that it starts to harden up and thicken up on you too much, you can just throw it right back in the microwave again and just do the same thing. So what I like to do is just toss the ball in there, move it around a little bit, and then with a fork, and just pull it out and put it right on a baking sheet with clean parchment paper. And you just do that with all of them. And I like to put some melted white chocolate in just a little bottle like this. Just like to decorate them. They look just so pretty. Very minimal effort goes into these. And then once you're finished decorating them, even if you didn't decorate them, if you just dip them in chocolate, you can put them in the refrigerator to set for about 15 minutes. So this is what the finished product looks like. As you can see, it looks like you spent all day working on these, and you didn't.
These turrets are not going silently, but the game is ending very quickly, right?
Drops the mic. So if you guys want to remake this recipe, just look below in the description box. I have all the measurements as well as the written instructions. And if you did like this recipe, don't forget to smack that like button. And if you're not already subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe because I have many more recipes to come. And real quick before I end this video, I just wanted to say thank you to all my subscribers. We hit 1,000, which is nuts. That's insane. I don't even know why you guys want to watch me, but thank you for watching. When I saw I hit 1,000 subscribers, I just broke down and did a dance. I really appreciate everyone's nice comments. You guys really light up my day, and it just makes me feel good, so I appreciate it. Also, I wanted to say a quick A to my Aunt Luann in Canada. I know you're watching, so I just wanted to say hi. So as always, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and until next time, well, I will see you until next time.
That's what that
was fast game. And so for Top Esports, who's one of the fastest teams so far this split.
Holy goodness gracious, what's up, peeps? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back for a very important video on a topic that was covered months ago now. Some of the biggest RuneScape drama. Trust me, you want to hear more about this one involving a streamer known as Odablock and another streamer known as Stella. As the two went back and forth and were clear rivals in the game, but it led to some of the biggest RuneScape drama that we have ever seen. Also including a former mod, a former RuneScape mod known as Mod Trident. This is actually months ago where Odablock had both of his main accounts permanently banned for paid account sharing, and this just started a monstrosity of information coming out from both sides. As Odablock being a fairly large creator on YouTube RuneScape as well as a streamer for the game, and all of a sudden having his main accounts both permanently banned for paid account sharing, he alleged that this was actually done by a mod known as Mod Trident, and it was done on behalf of Mod Trident's girlfriend, a streamer and creator known as Stella. Now he also admits to doing one of these accounts, having paid account sharing on one of them, but never on the other. But he claims that this streamer known as Stella actually used her relationship with Mod Trident, the RuneScape mod, to get Oda banned because he created a rival DMing clan in the game. If you guys don't know, these DMing clans, these deathmatching clans, it's pretty much a way for these creators, if they make a successful DMing clan, to bring in loads and loads of gold, or known as GP in the game.
I'm Carla Hall, chef, foodie, and curious connoisseur of delicious dishes everywhere. Oh my God! Join me as we uncover the global roots of some of our favorite foods. It's only on Ice Cream. Yes, because if you don't know the story, you don't know the dish. Jason on Flavor
Game. So, Oda alleged that Stella, because Oda was making a rival DMing clan and taking business away from her, used her relationship with the mod to try and get him permanently banned, and successfully did it, at least for a little while.
This next clip is a response by Stella that's replying to a viewer that said Odablock CC is immune to bans.
But they're not immune. What's gonna happen is Jagex is gonna go through the list, start banning everybody, and then people are gonna
pretty simple to do.
start realizing, like, holy shit, rule breakers do not actually run a CC. Do you think those people that are ranked right now and their CC?
So there are our ingredients for our meatballs.
I'm Carla Hall, chef, foodie, and curious connoisseur of delicious dishes everywhere. Oh my God! Join me as we uncover the global roots of some of our favorite foods. What is going on? Ice cream.
You can taste
someone's heart.
Yes, because if you don't know the story, you don't know the dish.
Chasing Flavor, Thursdays at 9
So,
on Flavor
for this
Town.
panada,
Stream on Stack
what we're going to
TV.
do is we're basically just going to bung our breadcrumbs in some milk.
Not rule breaking? Do you think they're not RWT? They haven't just been brought to attention. So if they start DC, do you think they're gonna still want to like run the CC? No, no one's gonna want to be affiliated with it.
She tells everyone exactly what's literally going to happen the next day.
Jagex is gonna go through the list, start banning everybody,
And that rule breakers, referring to me, can't run a clan chat.
and then people are gonna start realizing like, holy shit, rule breakers do not actually run a CC.
How the hell can she have this information a day before my ban? But then Jagex comes and tells me they can't give information about an ongoing investigation. So unless another Jagex mod is telling Stella inside information, it must be Trident. Now, is there another member of the anti-cheat team?
You found a place of complete focus. You ordered your thoughts and mastered your mind. And all the while, you were on the train home. Audible. There's more to imagine when you listen.
giving Stella this information? I think it's much more likely that the person she has a romantic relationship with is giving her that information.
And Stella was also the one who publicly announced her relationship with the mod. And I mean, even there, at the very base of when this whole thing started, that was interesting. If you have a streamer for a game and they are announcing a public relationship with one of the mods for the game who does have a fair amount of power, there's already going to be, you know, whispers of a potential conflict of interest, especially when something like this happens, where there was plenty of evidence to support the claims made by Oda. He did allege a lot of things, but also throughout this, other creators started speaking up and sending in screenshots and evidence of Stella actually doing real-world trading, scamming, being in large amounts of debts to several players out there, and much more. So in getting Oda Block permanently banned, she then outed herself to the community to go and find stuff, and they found a lot of stuff.
The other irony in this is that she states that people are soon going to realize that rule breakers are going to be dealt with and that you can't RWT. But Stella, you are an RWTer. That's what you do. That's the only reason you play this game. You sell all the gold that you get. Nobody has ever been paid back any debt. And on the screen right now, I have a proof that you've RWT'd and received money for gold that you sold. Now, lucky for you, I blocked out your number because I'm not here to share out your real information or give out your real name, which isn't even Stella, by the way. But I'm not going to get into that because I'm only here to expose the scamming that you do. Some of you guys may be saying, oh, but this transaction is from 4 months ago, so how do we know that she still RWTs now? Well, on the screen right now, you guys can see someone who sent her $1,435 to her Coinbase account. Now, he kindly included the address that he's used to send the money to. So, all we have to do is just go ahead and look up that address. When we look up that address, we see who it went to. So what comes up when you look up the address that it went to? Now on the screen right now, we're looking at Stella's crypto address, which sends and receives money almost every single day. In fact, there was a transaction yesterday on April 16, 2023 for $299. Now, oddly enough, that's the equivalent of one bill today on RuneScape. There's transactions here almost every single day, like I said.
And where it all ended previously was Oda Block's permanent bans were both turned to temporary, and then RuneScape or Jagex launched an internal investigation on their mod and to further clarify the Stella situation. And that's why I'm here today, guys, because we have an update, or at least part of one, and it's freaking crazy. We actually had the reversal of Oda Block's permanent bans and a complete 180 from Jagex, as they have now apparently, according to Stella, they have fired Mod Trident and then banned her instead. And she took to an hour-long stream. The VOD has been taken down. Otherwise, I would give you guys what was actually said on stream. I've heard not really much. I only captured like a 5-minute clip, and nothing was really said at all. She did post a message in Discord, though, to further talk about her side. And yeah, apparently Jagex has now fired the mod and banned her instead. As she said, Trident was fired and I was banned for no reason, but they can do that, right? Because I don't have a YouTube channel to go on a smear campaign, but having someone get 40 mil XP for you is apparently considered okay. Their terms state that it's considered a bot account, therefore it should be banned. No, I don't care about Oda. I'm now referring to logistics of it. I get banned for no reason, but a serial rule breaker that bashes the company and taunts the J-Mods and brags about not grinding his own account gets unbanned. But Stella, a Stella who hasn't broken any rules, gets banned? Okay, you keep on saying you haven't broken any rules. As far as I know, during her stream, she didn't actually go over any of the accusations or evidence against her. So, you did break rules. That's like pretty much for sure here. I'm not expecting an unban. Spineless company refusing to even make a statement defending their own employee. And me, I know I didn't break any rules. You're too scared to make a statement, as you know it will only bring you negative PR. How could you defend Stella and Trident knowing they did nothing wrong, right? God forbid your precious streamer makes another video which lies you could have debunked. You initially waited 2 months for this to die out before banning me and firing him. I turned down interviews in hopes of saving Trident's job and helping the company save face. I banned reporters in hopes of just waiting for this to die out. It's been 2 months and not a single statement has been made in terms of the investigation.
A child
All
of the
just
hospitality
shared.
life
He was
from
found
a chain of
innocent.
family-owned
You want to know the
restaurants.
real reason? Someone
That's a
decided to
definite
lie
hell
and
yes.
save their own arse
I'm
at the company.
A
And
lover
there's
of
a
the
lot to
culinary
dissect
world,
there
traveled
because
the
you don't
country
know what
working
any
in
of it
restaurants,
really means.
and I married a
She keeps on
chef.
claiming that she has not broken any
There's
rules
that
and
heat.
that she
Yeah,
was
and then
for
they
no
need a happy
reason.
hour service,
She also
one
says
bar
that
at a
he was
time.
found
We're doing it
innocent,
all for you.
but then someone at Jagex decided to
This
lie.
is LA Happy.
And then goes on and on about this statement, taking 2 months. Of course, this was done months ago, right? They waited 2 months to then ban her. I mean, that's how an investigation works. An investigation is not done overnight, so maybe it took 2 months to finally conduct the investigation in its entirety. The situation is a bit would say confusing because Jagex has not made the statement at the point of your recording, so I will give her that. But to come out and claim when you've done nothing wrong, when there have been hour-long videos of things you have done wrong, she says she could debunk those things, so we'll see. There is a moment of the stream I did capture. It wasn't really much to it. It wasn't the beef of the stream. Again, the VOD was taken down. If anyone has the full VOD, feel free to send it. But here's what she said there.
Ooh, I love that.
It's not gonna do
And that's pretty.
The only way
Ooh, and it's dripping.
is if it gets on YouTube and YouTubers are talking about it.
I wasn't
If I talk about it on stream, no one's gonna care.
Leftover from
If I show everybody how the J-mods or whoever is allowing rule breakers because they're associated with Autoblog,
Ooh, that's interesting.
Some of these Autoblog
There is, yeah, it is a
the
fault.
only people that will care
The
is
color
if I go to
looked
Reddit.
like it was gonna be fresh and It totally
shiny.
did.
But
With
not
the orange
everybody on Reddit
slices,
likes
maybe
to
like
look
little sparkling on it. There's no sparkling floater. I don't even know, man. It's kind of a disappointment. I'm really surprised. How's your purista? It's delish. And while she's tasting that, I'll let you know.
It's just a video
They have an incredible bar program here. The beverage
close to
manager
Autoblog
is all about agave spirits. So they do all of these drinks with agave spirits beyond what you see on the happy hour menu. So yeah, I think you'll appreciate what he's doing there.
You got their tequila in there for sure too.
Yeah, and they're all about mezcal here and reposado tequila. So there's a variety happening beyond the happy hour menu, but the margs you can never go wrong with.
Greg, of course you're gonna come in
When I
here.
talk restaurant talk,
They do off Mr. Autoblog for how long now?
They really do.
Literally, how long has it been? Honestly, do you respect yourself when you go to sleep at night? Greg, do you still respect yourself? Do you think like, yeah, I'm the man? Or do you think like, man, I'm such a bitch, man? I do everything Autoblog tells me to do. Like if he tells me to sit, I sit like a good doggy. Like I'm a good doggy. Who's a good doggy? You're a good doggy. You're Sheila. You're a good doggy. Right? Are you a good doggy?
Salsa
Anyways,
verde.
I'm ending,
These
but
chips are
before I go,
homemade.
W Autoblog.
Oh my God.
We love you, Autoblog. You're the fucking CEO. CEO Autoblog. Mr. Autoblog runs this shit. There is no one else that runs this. Like,
it's so funny they call it
listen,
chorizo.
if you ever get banned, head over to Mr. Autoblog. He'll take care of it for you. You know?
Everything tastes so good, right? I don't need to like. I have to admit that like this is one of those places where like
W Autoblog.
food is like mimicking something that.
This definitely is interesting. Without a statement from Jagex, I don't think that's very fair. We need to know exactly, what was found or how they came to the reasoning. Because remember, 2 months ago, Autoblog had both of his accounts permanently banned. And if a single mod can do that without showing evidence or having, backup, that's a flawed system for RuneScape and Jagex to have in place. They then turn those permanent bans into temporary after he showcases apparently evidence in some admissions on his end of what he did wrong and what he did not do wrong. So they switch those bans, and then he alleges that one of your own mods colluded with someone that he had a relationship with who is also a streamer to actually ban him in the first place in order to pump up her own rival DMing clan so she can make loads of gold. And along the way, she was exposed for scamming and real-world trading and a lot of allegations that she says that she could have debunked. Huh? This is a situation, isn't it, fam? But that's where we're going to leave it, okay? One of the craziest stories, the firing of Mod Trident and a Jagex employee over a relationship he had with a streamer trying to get at another streamer. There's nothing quite like RuneScape. Till next time, take care. We'll see you back here sometime soon. What do you think?
Well, I thought that was insane. Good heat on the aioli. Yeah. Yeah. The mushroom is juicy.
Eat this.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that was amazing. I think it's good that it's only that size because that is a dense. It's very dense. And we have made the wrong choice. What's yours? Oyster mushroom. Cinnamon pineapple.
Olha, são vários aqui, velho.
Onion. So I was excited about the pineapple. I love
Mano, de onde surgiu esse Darius, velho? Darius Fantasma. Vocês viram isso, velho?
Some sauce on it, doesn't say. Go for it. I think do it. Just I don't know. Do it. Ooh, she doesn't like it.
GG, Drag.
I'm not enjoying the sauce. It's very barbecuey or something. I wasn't expecting that sauce. I liked the oyster mushrooms, just like, I like that option of it. Because I like the texture of it. It does. And I didn't get like the flavor of the pineapple because like the sauce was too much. I got a little bit of pineapple. I don't mind it.
Online casino was.
I like yours better.
Kayla,
pé, no pé. Peguei ele.
Amanhã eu vou passar.
What event's fun? I love Portobello. I love beer batter.
Calma.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Peguei da foto, acho que ela não vai ver.
It's a two for sure thing.
Confia, porra. Pega o da foto, pega a foto, ela não vai ver o Hulk. Calma.
Bonnie Crombie says she respects your money, but her actions tell a different story. She billed taxpayers for her luxury cars, personal expenses, carbon offsets, and Amazon Prime. More for her, less for you. Authorized by the CFO for the Ontario PC Party.